In reaffirming the greatness of our nation, we understand that greatness is never a given. It must be earned. Our journey has never been one of shortcuts or settling for less. It has not been the path for the faint-hearted, for those who prefer leisure over work or seek only the pleasures of riches and fame. We remain the most prosperous, powerful nation on earth. Our workers are no less productive than when this crisis began. Our minds are no less inventive. Our goods and services no less needed than they were last week or last month or last year. Our capacity remains undiminished. But our time of standing pat, of protecting narrow interests and putting off unpleasant decisions, that time has surely passed. Starting today.
Yeah, so greatness doesn't come just because you are, because we are. And I think a lot of people in America have this notion that America is great just because, and that exists or will exist just because it's supposedly always has, and it'll just be there. If people are not willing to step up to the plate, put in the work, if a critical mass of the populace is not going to participate in their government, in their communities, in making their society better, stronger, and so forth, then it at some point won't be anymore. And so this thought that we'll just sit back and wait on the government just to make things happen, and just because we're America, it just will be, is very faulty thinking. Also, like the point that he makes, that the time of protecting narrow interests surely must now pass, or how he specifically put it. That is a very important point. I hope we will be thinking about that and be willing to recognize that what's best for us overall is more important than these protected sacred cows that are often protected in government and in policy. And some of these sacred cows are killing us. I was thinking about bringing a couple up. I won't go into that at this point. This might be something I address again in specific at a later date. But just to hope that you will think about that notion and keep it on your mind.
There are some who question the scale of our ambitions, who suggest that our system cannot tolerate too many big plans. Their memories are short, for they have forgotten what this country has already done, what free men and women can achieve when imagination is joined to common purpose and necessity to courage. What the cynics fail to understand is that the ground has shifted beneath them, that the stale political arguments that have consumed us for so long no longer apply. The question we ask today is not whether our government is too big or too small, but whether it works.
In some cases, it's good, well advised, and even better to take things slow and incremental in the movements that you make in trying to change things and trying to bring things along. But quite often, that's not the case. This kind of argument was really put forward by Booker T. Washington and some other folks back during the Civil Rights era, that you were moving too fast, we got to just go through the legal system. This was actually the debate between the SCLC and the NAACP initially in the late 50s about go through the legal system one case at a time. And there were certain other people saying, we even taking it even further. Oh, you can't ask the South to change that fast. They'll change in due time. Just wait. And then the other folks were like, no, we got to move now. It's already too late. Time has already passed, and we got to go forward. And that's the kind of way I see it with with the situation, with some of the issues we're dealing with now. Like I mentioned earlier, the healthcare system it's been too long. It's been too wrong for too long. Our infrastructure, our national infrastructure, as far as bridges and things like that, there's got to be financing and action taken on those things now. Poverty has gone on unchecked for too long without any real type of solutions to address them. Economy, the wars have been going. We've got certain things right now that it's been too much of the same old same for too long. Too much money thrown at schools without any actual results coming out of it, without any changes in how we go about doing things, just thinking that you can just throw money at schools in the incremental approach. Just by the fact that you're dumping money on it, that changes things, even though you don't change how you go about doing things. And though things have stayed the same, we keep wanting to continue forward with the same solutions. And some of these problems are just too deep. The decay has gone on for too long, and you just don't have time to wait any longer. The time is now, and you just have to move forward with things. Things have to be changed more quickly.
As for our common defense, we reject as false the choice between our safety and our ideals. Know that America is a friend of each nation and every man, woman, and child who seeks a future of peace and dignity. Recall that earlier generations faced down fascism and communism not just with missiles and tanks, but with the sturdy alliances and enduring convictions. They understood that our power alone cannot protect us, nor does it entitle us to do as we please. Instead, they knew that our power grows through its prudent use. Our security emanates from the justness of our cause, the force of our example, the tempering qualities of humility and restraint. And for those who seek to advance their aims by inducing terror and slaughtering innocents, we say to you now that our spirit is stronger and cannot be broken. You cannot outlast us, and we will defeat you.
Very good notion, and very important to put forth the notion that we reject as false the ideals that we have to choose between our safety and our freedom. As a matter of fact, there is no freedom in tyranny. You cannot put forward, or you can put it forward, but it is not accurate to put forward the ideal that in order for us to be safe, that we have to live under tyranny. Because by its nature, government tyranny is by its nature unsafe. You cannot have safety under the iron hand of someone else determining how you get to live, or you get to be, what you get to say. So ideally, if you do become free from the outside, or safe from outside attack, you are now not only vulnerable, you are now the victim of internal attack and the tearing down of our freedom. There is no safety in tyranny. So that notion by itself, in and of itself, is a false notion. Furthermore, the facts of history and the facts of what we've been able to do in the past can surely demonstrate that it is not necessary that the people give up all their freedoms to the government in order for us to defend ourselves against outside recrimination. As a matter of fact, it has been documented that George Bush, before 9/11, started using overly aggressive spy tactics and spying on the American people before 9/11. If these tactics worked to keep us safe, then why did 9/11 happen? If they kept us safe, it wouldn't happen. It would not have happened. So the facts bear these things out. To another point that Obama said, that we are a friend to every nation, or every poor nation, or however specifically he put it. It's nice to say that, and that's one thing as a notion, as some words to be said. But the facts of the matter, we have worked to undermine governments and to knock them down. We can talk about being a friend to these nations, but if we're doing things that are unfriendly to them, we're undermining democratic governments, or however governments that were chosen by the people, whether they were chosen by our methods or not. If that's what those people chose, and we simply continue to undermine these governments because the dictator we feel is better than the democratic leader we don't know. The dictator we know will play ball with us and give us what we want. So we're going to undermine people's governments and put them under these tyrannies. We can't do that and then say we're their friend at the same time. So being the other nation's friend is going to come through. It's going to be proven through our actions, not through our words. But I hope Obama saying that means that he wants to change our behavior towards certain countries when they have governments that where we want to do business, or we want to get certain things out of those countries, that we will not undermine their governments in order to install somebody. We want to play ball, that will work with them under their chosen governments, or we'll just move on and get what we need elsewhere, but that we will not be putting countries and plunging them into tyranny just so we can get somebody in power that we want for ourselves.